Hey guys, welcome back to the C and J show. And I have my favorite gin and juice here, and I have my sister Neek. This is our very first documentary, and we're going to be talking about Michelle Blair. And before I give this to my sister, one fact that I did not know, which I have read up upon this story, and I seen this a couple of years back, and I was just thinking I never knew that the kids, what make this story so interesting is that the two kids, the son and the daughter, was buried in her freezer for 2 whole years. So it's kind of like what happened to the school system, what happened to family members or anybody. So Meek is going to give you the clip in her thing. Go ahead.
Okay, so Michelle Blair, who removed her kids from Detroit public schools and said she was homeschooling them, was accused of severely abusing all of her children. She admitted to starving Stoney and threw scalding water on her and told a judge she made Stephen drink Windex and put a bag over his head, causing him to lose consciousness, and I guess he passed away. And it says, I guess it was March 26, 2015, where the police arrived to evict her. Is where they found the two bodies of her deceased children that she had wrapped, and she said they're one of their favorite blankets, and stuffed them in the freezer. No. So that was 2015 when they originally first found out about the children, and I guess 2017 is when she went to court and was discussing, I guess, in detail what happened with the children. Yes.
Okay, and in that with the little boy, he was alive. So where's he? Who have him now? The boy who got molested.
They didn't say anything about whose custody he's in. You said?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see anything on who had custody of him. I don't think they gave that information out.
Okay, because I know I was looking at something, and I believe in the court order, I guess the father did come, but he wasn't able to get the child. So I don't know if it went to DCF or anything. But so basically, this is our documentary, and we're gonna go with this thing with her. But before we get into it even further, we're gonna let Jen and Juice take over and say some stuff. But the interesting thing, like I did say, that I just feel like the whole system failed everybody. Mm-hmm. And we had a talk about this one time before, how kids get abused, molested, and different things, and then they grow up to be adults and they repeat the cycle. Now we do know that Michelle, she had an okay background with her parents and stuff. The mom was kind of well known, and one of her family members raped her, and the mom did nothing. So she said this was one of her ways where she always told her kids, don't let nobody touch you. And she had this thing going on with, like, don't let nobody do this because it's happened to her. So this just brought upon, I guess, disgust with her. But the thing about it, before the police even came, it kind of seemed like everything was not like in a good living status, regardless, like with everything, the kids, her, the way the house was, just like nothing was good. So my thing is, Jen, at this point in me, was it a mental thing first? Like, was she dealing with mental issues? Because when you look back inside of the house, it was not kept up good. And for 2 years to store like anybody's of any kind, family or not, that is a long time to deal with that, and nobody know nothing.
You know what? It's after hearing the whole thing about her mom not doing anything about her being molested, it almost makes you feel like, okay, did she suffer like trauma so much to the point where she is like, has like a borderline like mental illness to this thing, like where she's so passionate about it. You see, she sit in court and she says she'll do it again with no problem. She doesn't bat an eye when she say it.
Yeah, no.
She means every single word that she says.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay. It's like, how do you judge a case like that?
Right. Yeah.
How do you judge a case like
that? But it goes back to, then giving it to you, Neem, it goes back to what we were saying. Like, this happened to kids. Things happen to them and nobody can't defend them. Then they just grow up to be adults, because it seemed like a switch. If you look at the video, when she's talking about it, she's very passionate about, no, listen, that was nasty, and if I gotta kill him again, I'll do it over and over and do whatever again and again and again, because they know I hated that. And that, like, okay, then she switched over. It kind of seemed a little bit sad, but not about what she did with the kids, but sadness to the little boy that he had to suffer in that way because she did. So again, with this, we know it's a sickness, but with all of it, is it something that, because she done got into some trouble even after?
I think it was a domino effect. I think, for one, she suffered and never got the proper treatment because obviously her mom didn't give her the treatment that was needed as far as being raped, right? So that comes with its own traumas where, you know, something happens to you, you bring it to your mom, she's supposed to fix it, and nothing happens. So that's double the hurt, you know what I mean, and disappointment for you there.
Yeah.
Now, I think moving forward, having children and trying to be, you know, adulting, clearly there were some issues there. Getting evicted, that was, you know, there was something going on. People get evicted every day, I get it, but the way that they found the apartment, you know, her removing the children from public school to homeschooling them, and I'm assuming because of the abuse and the malnutrition and things like that, I think she wanted to keep things under wrap. So she kind of like, okay, well, I don't have to really answer for the two that maybe that she had already, you know, killed or whatever. If they're homeschooled, but I think there's definitely a mental illness that comes along with being able to kill anybody, especially your own children.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I think, you know, it being, you know, whether it was rape, whether it was whatever that the children was doing, a lot of times, because I studied this some years ago, about children normally study like behaviors, right? Especially being that young. They don't do things unless it was done to them, they seen it, or whatever. So it had to be where either she might have had the wrong people around her children, where this happened to them. So, but she wasn't in the right mental space to even ask the question, where did you learn this from?
Yeah.
Who taught you this? Why did you do this to your little brother or to your little sister? And got to the root of the problem, because it had to happen somewhere. But they said that, you know, she was.
Well, let me just ask you this then, if that's so. So, do you think by her already, number one, hating this is something she's hating? She says she's speaking to them and telling them this from the time that they can understand stuff. Do you think that by her just rehearsing this every day, like you can put something in your mind knowing that, okay, she was kind of mental or something, because she did say every single day she would ask them this stuff, but every single day with the girl having her period, and then her brother, who they said did this every day, she made them suffer where she did something. Now, she did go back and say that day when he had died, he was her son. She was going to give him some oatmeal that day because she wasn't intending for him to die so quickly. But the girl, yes, because she was old enough and she should never did that. And she actually said that those two was having sex and tried to do this to the boy. And it's kind of like listening to it a little bit. I know everything is kind of crazy, but listening to it is like, is some of this stuff made up? Like they was just so freely doing this stuff? I know she wasn't there in the home.
Yeah, unless, oh, you mean like if like she was envisioning these things, almost like what's what I'm looking for? Like like she was schizophrenic. Like she
like, okay, this is
it didn't happen. because
yeah, like
she's so obsessed with
she's
it.
so yeah, like okay,
and it was such a traumatic experience for her.
Yeah,
She may have created like this alternate reality
Right.
with this whole situation.
yeah,
Right, because she never. So it was like they were the monsters that was doing this, and she had to pay it back some kind of way because she had all this anger built
Yeah.
up in it,
Yeah.
in her.
Yeah.
From
It's
it.
almost like she was punishing the people that did it to her.
yeah,
Exactly. But right, that's true.
and she also
So,
said with the mom that by her mom being like this well-known lady that is, you know, she had the parties, well-known, people knew her, and supposed to be like the big bad woman, and she was like, listen, you know, she was like this, and then as soon as something happened to me, she didn't fight for me, she didn't go do anything. So it's kind of like, okay, we can see the trauma.
But you know,
There.
things happen like that where it's either one extreme or the next. You
Mhm.
can have a parent that's an alcoholic and you'll never pick up a beer. Or you could drink somebody under a table. I think it's the same thing here. Like, okay, her mom didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So she didn't go down that route. She's the extreme opposite of it, where she's gonna do something so much so to where she's gonna kill the
Yeah.
abusers,
right.
Yeah.
regardless of the abusers being her own children.
Right.
Yeah.
Like she's gonna go above and beyond.
Yeah,
to
like
make sure. Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because to me, I mean, you know, they did this, and this is a very disgusting act. But regardless, these are kids, and they're young,
They're
and every
babies,
single
and
day,
they don't know about these type of things.
Yeah.
Unless somebody is doing it to them.
and how much could
They
we even
sit-
hold them accountable, being
right.
that she's like,
Right.
and this is the thing too. When I think people cases go, you know, unheard of, unsolved, and you can't seem to figure out stuff. Once you've been and had like a mental breakdown, it kind of close up the door for any truth in it, because you now don't know what's true from what's false, because you are like mental, like the house, like everything just kind of just went under.
Right.
And if you look at her pictures, you know, you guys see the picture. She looked very nice and stuff like that. I just don't know if she had a mental breakdown.
She definitely
She
did.
did.
I think for years though, from the way that everything looked and seemed leading up to, you know, them, you know, capturing the babies, and you know, her, and finding out what was going on for these years. This has been going on for years. She's had this mental illness, and I think, like I said, it just built up from childhood. And you know, a lot of people suffer from, you know, from rape or sexual assault or whatever it is in different ways. Some people are promiscuous. Some people get on drugs really bad. Some people just sell their bodies. They don't care enough. Or some people go into a deep enough, you know, depression to where they are, you know, bipolar, or they are, you know, just a number of things.
And let
They
me
just disconnect.
and let me ask you guys this. Now, do you think, I know she is very strong minded with this did to happen, and this is what her 6-year-old son told her. Do you guys think that her kids did this?
I do.
You think that they did do this act?
I think that they did. I don't think that this was something that was
Because she said that they were having sex, and then they tried to do this to the 6-year-old baby.
I think it's very possible that if they were being molested, they were having sex with each other, and they tried to have sex with, well, not tried to have sex, but they, you know, did whatever they did with their 6-year-old brother. I think that it's very plausible for something like that to happen. I think, like you know, we said, if somebody's being mentally abused, not sexually abused, they repeat these actions and things like that. Although it sounds crazy to us, but we don't know what it is to be violated in such a way at such a young age, where your hormones are raging, you're in puberty, you're at the height of all of these different things, and then here you have this guy, you know, you don't really look at him as your brother. It's just like a guy that you can do
Cause she's totally disconnected. That like, no, that's what she basically did. Like, no, this is not.
Who knows who the person is that did it to them? It could have been somebody that was a family member. You get what I'm saying?
But
so it blurs the line of family versus sexual partner. You know, you don't have sex with family. No. But when you're being abused by family, I think those lines get blurred, and it's just like, okay, I can do this with him too because I didn't did it with you. Yeah. You know,
right? Yeah.
And you think that this is something that actually happened? This is not like
I don't know, because I think us, discussing that scenario about like, because what are the odds of, her being raped, right? And then 9 times out of 10, when you are raped or, sexually assaulted in any kind of way, because I think mothers in general are very protective over their children, right? Yeah. Even if nothing have happened to them. I think they become even more protective, especially seeing how extreme she is. Now, it could have happened. It could have been, where, she left the kids with a boyfriend of hers that she trusts, or didn't think that anything like that would happen. I don't know.
And she said she don't do that kind of stuff because of, like, there was always she left and they would be in school or whatever, but she left them home because she didn't trust people, because she knew her family.
And so that's what I'm saying. Like,
who do you know? Like, who's coming over when you're not home?
Yeah, but if she don't allow anybody to come over,
that don't mean that the kids can't open the door for people. How does she know who's there?
Yeah, but
you get what I'm saying,
right? But like I said, if they were molested, it definitely could have happened. If they were not, I highly doubt that they did all of these acts. I think that she suffered mentally. And
I think she made it up.
I think not so much that she made it up. I think that it's something that she really thought happened. Like a lot of those movies and those documentaries where these people have multiple personality disorder or schizophrenic or whatever it is, where they have this whole thing. Like, I forgot that movie we watched where it was a true story about a guy who was in college and he had his best friend and all these things. End of the movie, you find out that none of these people existed. He was schizophrenic. He made all of these things up in his mind, and none of this stuff happened for real. Yeah. And it happens. Schizophrenia is a very, different.
Consuming. Yeah. Consumes like your whole
thing. So it's just like these things happen for them.
And then every day, bring it to something simple. If you've been hurt, if something hurt you, or you've been hurt really bad, even down to, we want to say cheating. If something hurts you really bad, you can now don't even give that person a chance. Everything they do, you can point it out like, okay, no, it seems like you're cheating, you're seeing. And I don't know, for her, feeling this the way that she did, like with some of it, were you looking for something? Like, she's the type of parent that's, was one thing I was looking at where the guy, they was called Black Israelites, and the boy, I think he was only 3, came up and touched the other little boy's butt, and he killed the lady's son, saying that, okay, no, he was going to grow up gay. So he just killed them and put, because of that. And so I